Hello guys, it's Anders. So today I'm going to have a little chat to you about a cool little application that was brought to my attention through some of the blogs I follow. Pro Audio Files. If you don't follow that, whack it into Google. Well worth having a look at. Really useful if you're trying to learn about audio and DAWs and that sort of thing. Put loads of good information up, just like myself. You should give them a subscribe as well as give me a subscribe if you've never visited here before. Now, what the app is, it's about ear training. Now, if ear training is not something you've heard of, it's the concept of training your brain to understand what particular frequencies it's hearing and what differences it's hearing in audio, which is really useful when you're making music, so you can hear these small adjustments. You'll find if you're really new to this, when you're applying EQ to something, you might not be able to hear the difference. When you're applying compression, you won't be able to hear the difference. I mean, compression's a really hard one, especially when you're only doing a couple of decibels to really hear a difference. It takes a long time. And this ear training, the idea being that you can develop that because you're taking it to really small incremental steps. If you're ever going to go and study somewhere like SAE or Point Blank, I know for a fact they both use not this app, but their own versions of, or something along those lines. I know that because I worked at Point Blank for a while. I know that because I've been through SAE. Now, Quiztones is dead useful because I've not come across the fact before you can have it on a phone, so it's nice and mobile. And I mean, I should have it up here at this point. You should be able to see what's going on. It starts really simple and it does it in sort of a game format that you can just have a frequency played at you and it'll give you 4 options and you've got to ping what frequency that is. And to start with, they're all like 200, 250 hertz split apart and they're relatively easy. Now, I would advise you do is, if you've got to set up anything like this, work on that and then go into headphones as well. What I've been doing is playing around with it in here, testing it out on the headphones, and then when I'm traveling, because I'm back and forth a lot into the city, just using it on some headphones as well. And I'll tell you a couple of things I found out on headphones. If you're using like some Bluetooth in-ears, you're in a busy environment, you're going to struggle with identifying the real high frequencies. When it gives you like 8K, 16K, 20K, you haven't got a hope in hell of getting those down. If you do, then you're onto something big time getting into audio. Couldn't do it at all. I'd get those wrong all the time when traveling. But in here, it really gives you an idea of what 16 kilohertz sounds like in your studio, what 16 kilohertz sounds like in your headphones. And that's useful when you come back to a mixing stage or a production stage. You'll be able to hear those areas and go, oh, that's not quite right. That's 16K because I've heard that before. And it's definitely something that you should get nailed down. Now, a couple of things I don't like about the app are it's score based, but it doesn't save your score. You've got no like competition and drive against yourself. I think that would be something really good if they could add that in. And you can bring your own music into it. That's really good. You can't do it from Apple Music or Spotify. You need to physically have the file on your device. But the thing I don't like, it chooses a random section of the track.
But on the beat, I'm a blowtorch to Ramirez. Never stick to a particular plan. I knock the igloo out your wigwam like I got 6 hands. Time to pitch it back on. So I tested it out by putting one of my own mixes on, thinking like, okay, this would be cool. I'll be able to hear the EQ differences. I know the track really, really well. And the problem was it would take like 2 bars where drum and bass and everything was in, and then it would drop out to the vocal bridge. It's like, okay, well, you've done a boost here at 68 hertz, but there's no 68 hertz in this area, so I can't hear it. So I think being able to choose the area of the track would be really useful, or just have the whole track playing rather than a small snippet. But for the most part, really useful app, really good for training your ears. If you're trying to understand sounds and how they work, get some vocal samples in there and things like that. Gonna really help you. There's also some defaults in there, like you can have a drum kit playing, there's guitar playing. Initially, just start out with the easiest one, which is playing a tone and then identifying what that tone is. It's available on the App Store. You can grab it through Pro Audio Files. It is called Quiztones. Let me know if you find it useful, guys. And if you want to know more about these sorts of apps,
Give us a shout in the comments and I'll let you know some other great, like, helpful and development tools that you can have a look at. I will catch you on the next one.